Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and this is a video I have wanted to make for such a long time. I am the proud owner of my very first ever green stalk planter and we're gonna plant it today and I'm so excited. So if you've been following along, you know now that we have sold our house, our little quarter-acre suburban homestead, and we are temporarily moving into a townhouse. Now, as I'm sure you could guess, I cannot go a season without gardening in some way, shape, or form. If we were moving into an apartment, I'd have pots in a windowsill or on my balcony. I would find a way. Gardening is a part of who I am and I have to do it. So, fortunately, this townhouse has a back deck. And so there is room enough for my green stalk planter as well as a few pots that I'm gonna put some tomato and pepper plants in. And we are going to go ahead and get started on that today. We are still at our original home. We haven't moved out of it yet. And I was really thinking maybe I would wait it out and put this together once we're in the townhouse. That way I don't have to transport it. However, first of all, we are really, really close. It's actually we're just going down the road. Like, I don't even know if it's a full mile. We're not going very far at all. And so it'll be easy enough to transport. It comes apart. Even with the soil and the plants in it, I can just put the tiers in the back of Tom's pickup truck and drive it over to the townhouse when it's time for us to move in. It'll be fine. So there's that. But also, I purchased these plants from our local nursery already almost a couple of weeks ago now, and I would have to wait a couple more weeks to be able to plant them, and I just really don't want them sitting in the pots this long. I really want to get them going and get them into their new home. Also, I think I'm going to be able to get more plants. I don't think I have enough to fill all of the holes, so I would just like to know that so that I can, there are some herbs that I haven't purchased yet that I want, and just to be able to keep it going and really fill it out. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's why we're doing it this way. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It's very windy. It's also very overcast, and we have a cold front coming. It's been in the 70s all week. It's been such a beautiful, gorgeous week. Has it been an unseasonably cold season for any other regions? We're in Western New York, and it has been a very cold spring, and we'll have like these 3 to 5 day segments where it's gorgeous. 70s, maybe even up to sometimes 80, all next week, the entire week next week in the 50s. The 50s. I think Wednesday is supposed to be a high of 51. Like, what are we doing? But that's okay, because the garden at the church is full of cabbages and kales and lettuces and zucchinis and Brussels sprouts and those things that like the colder weather. So it actually is a blessing that it's staying cold longer, and I'm glad. But I want it to be warm. I'm cold. I'm wearing long sleeves. Like, what is happening? Luckily, these plants are good and hardened off, so we're gonna go ahead and get them in the planter, and I think it's gonna be fine. We don't have any freezing temps as far as I can tell. So there's my little introduction. I've never owned a green stalk planter. I've never put one together before. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm sure I'm gonna make some mistakes. So let's crack this baby open. I cannot believe I'm opening a green stalk planter. I've wanted one for so long. We're rooting for you. Stop. So cute. Oh, yes, I got the green. Green is my favorite color. I had to. Okay. So, looks like this is the instruction manual. Good, definitely gonna need that. Before I get too far into it, I'm actually gonna go ahead and read the instruction manual so I know what I'm doing. We have to take a quick snack break because my neighbor just gave me some watermelon, and this baby wants watermelon 24/7. This is a good watermelon. I am very happy. Okay, so right off the bat, as I'm reading this, trying to figure out what to do, I realize I need to specify that I got the original model. There's the original and there's the leaf, at least according to this. The difference is how deep the individual pockets are. So on the original, they're 10 inches deep, which is actually really deep. And on the leaf, they're 7 inches deep. So it makes a difference based on what you can plant. This is saying in the original you can plant potatoes, you can plant watermelon, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers. I would never have thought to plant any of that in a green stalk, and I don't think I'm going to, but I guess I don't. Maybe now I have to think about it. Whereas with the leaf, because they're not as deep, there are some things that you can't. This is saying things more like arugula and chives, rosemary, radishes, lettuce, that kind of stuff. So first things first, we have to get our dirt ready to fill the different tiers. I have 4 bags here, 2 bags of composted manure and 2 bags of just regular topsoil. You'll notice that these bags don't say organic, but they're from my favorite nursery. I have been using these bags for years. They're in a lot of my beds and I've always had really great luck and have never had any issues with them. They're very affordable, 40-pound bags, and so this is always the stuff that I reach for. And it's specific to my nursery. It even has the name of my nursery on the bag, so it's not something that I can share to anybody who isn't local to the Rochester area. But if you are local, this came from the Garden Factory. Let's get this all together in the wheelbarrow. Okay, so here's the deal. I had no idea that these were 10 inches. That's only 2 inches away from being as deep as my raised beds. That's crazy deep. And so in my raised beds, I actually have the bottom of them filled with sticks and just general debris and things around to try and not need to fill them all the way up with soil. That's a really common method for filling raised beds. And I'm actually going to do the exact same thing with these because I'm not sure I have enough soil and composted manure to fill all of them, but also because over here where I'm kind of squatted down, this is where the chicken coop used to be, and we have not done anything with this area yet. We really need to rototill it and put down some grass seed, but we haven't yet. And so if you'll notice, this is actually really rich and looks really good. And it's because this is years and years worth of built up chicken poo, basically. And the deeper down you dig, the more composted it is. But even if it wasn't composted at all, that's okay because it's going in the very bottom of these. And so it's just going to add a really rich layer to the green stalk while also filling it up a little bit and offsetting how much soil and compost it's going to take to fill these. So I'm going to go ahead and bring each one of these over here and put in, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inches. That would leave, honestly, could even do 3 or 4. The things that I'm planting won't have crazy deep roots, and so they only need a few inches to grow in anyway. So I'll probably err on the side of more like 4 inches worth, and that is going to offer excellent food for this green stalk for a long time. So probably something like this is what I'm shooting for each of these, and then I'll fill this up the rest of the way with what I have in the wheelbarrow. But I'm gonna do this for each of these. Okay, I have all of them. Where are they? Filled? Well, not filled obviously, but with a decent amount of the chicken stuff. in them, and I also found a bunch of worms while I was doing that, which is great. So I'm gonna pop these babies into the various tiers. That made me really happy. And then we are going to mix up this topsoil and compost, because you saw I just dumped the bags in there. I got to get it mixed up, and we're going to fill these up. Now personally, I never fill anything all the way up the first year, whether it be a green stalk or a raised garden bed or a pot, anything I'm going to plant in. I never fill it all the way up the first year, because that leaves me plenty of room for amendment in the future, because every year I'm going to want to put a fresh layer of compost onto this. And I think for what we're planting this year, this is plenty deep enough. So even though I didn't fill this all the way up to the top, I think that this is going to be beautiful and perfect, and this is very exciting. I'm so glad that I have that chicken compost and manure in the bottom of these. I think that's also going to really set me up for success down the road with this green stalk, because of course, regardless of where I am or what garden space I have, I will be planting in this green stalk for years and years to come. So this is very exciting. I'm going to move these over to where I'm going to be assembling this, so that I'm not trying to move this thing once it's put together, because I did not get like the little, you can get like a thing that you set it on that has wheels so you can move it around. I didn't get that. I just have the planter. So while these things are still individual, let's get them where they're going to be. So the next step actually really surprised me, because it is to go ahead and plant while they're still disassembled and just have the dirt. Go ahead and plant all your plants in them. And for some reason I just assumed we'd be planting when it was all put together and tall, so that kind of surprised me. And I'm realizing as I'm looking at all of this glorious planting real estate that I really don't have that many plants to put in here at all. I have 10 strawberry plants and 6 lettuce plants, and that's all at the moment. I am planning on putting tons of basil and tons of oregano, probably some sage, probably some thyme in here as well. So I do want to leave some room. My nursery have the strawberry plants on sale 10 for $10 right now. That's how I got these 10. They are an everbearing variety called Seascape, and they are actually already producing like crazy, and they're red. Let me find a good one. So you can see here, they're actually already even producing strawberries. And actually, when it comes to green stalk, my long-term dream has always been to own, like, I don't know, maybe 5 of them, and to have them completely planted out with strawberries. I don't want to try to plant strawberries on the ground. I probably will do a small strawberry patch just to try it out and see, because I want to experience for myself. But we get a lot of rain here, and also at least here on this property, I've struggled so much with mice and with rabbits that I just love the idea of a green stalk strawberry tower, of just the strawberries spilling over the side. I love that idea. So that's what I always pictured me using the green stalks for. So I have no problem just jam-packing this thing full of strawberries, but I do also have some practical things that I need it for on the patio of the townhouse that we're moving to. I need it for herbs, and I need it for lettuce. So I do need to leave some room for that. I don't want to plant strawberries in the bottom 2 tiers because I just don't want to worry about them getting eaten. So I only want to plant the top 3 tiers in strawberries, and so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one has 6 pockets. and I have 10 plants. So do I want to space them out, or do I want to kind of plant them together? Do I want to plant them all together in one? It does say in the manual, wherever that went, that you can have 3 plants per pocket, depending on what the plant is. But these pots are pretty big, so I really don't see myself being able to fit more than that. So I think I'm gonna have 2 tiers just be completely strawberries, and I'll go back to the nursery and get a few more because I need to go back anyway to get some herbs. I didn't buy the herbs yet. So I'll give each pocket a strawberry plant. And then this works out really well because if this is ultimately what I'm gonna have this be for, then these strawberry plants should come back. Although I guess it probably just depends on how I store the green stock, because just like with pots versus planting in the ground versus planting in a raised bed, the temperature is different in something like this versus in the ground. And so it could be that these plants get a lot colder in the winter time being in the green stock, so perhaps these strawberries wouldn't come back in the green stock unless I covered it in some way or just otherwise cared for it in the winter time. Okay, next step is to assemble. So they have little feet that straddle right here so that they fit together nicely. So let's go ahead and try that out. So that's latched right in there, and that looks great. Whoa, that one's a little heavy. Okay. Whew. All right. This thing is so tall. There's still another tier to go on here. Trying to make sure nothing is getting crushed. This thing is almost as tall as me. I'm 5 feet even, which is 60 inches, and I'm pretty sure this is 55 inches. So this is pretty much as tall as me. This is crazy. I pull it away from the window a little bit. Okay, I can definitely see this area. Like the back, I can definitely see the back of this not getting as much sun with where I'm choosing to have it on the patio. If it was out more, it would get more sun. So I'm gonna have to come and turn it probably every couple of days just to make sure that everything's getting sun. The lettuce down here in these cups, which this is my fault because I didn't fill them up all the way with dirt. So if they were all the way up at the top, then it wouldn't be a problem. But they're definitely not going to get a lot of sun. Especially these ones in the back are for sure not. But that is my fault. Lastly, is the water reservoir. Oh, was that a raindrop? Oh, I gotta hurry. Almost made it. So these are going to click in here. I can see that. But I gotta watch the strawberries here. Let's see. So this is the top reservoir where you water. And then the system is that the hole here in the middle will bring the water down to all of those gray discs that we put in, and we'll water the whole thing from the top down. That's the system of the green stock. Okay. This is very exciting. Oh, I'm really excited about this. Very nice. This is exciting. Since it's only sprinkling, I am going to go ahead and you're supposed to fill this up with water, the top reservoir. So I am going to do that because I think I've got a minute here before it really starts coming down. The instructions said to fill it up until water starts coming out of the bottom, and it's really coming out of the bottom, so maybe I filled it up too much, but I think it's gonna be okay. So all in all, guys, this is really exciting. I can't believe that I own a green stalk and that it's together and that my strawberries are just like hanging out in it. This is so exciting. So can't wait to see how this progresses. It is dinner time. It is way past dinner time and I'm starting to get a little woozy. So I definitely need to go inside and have some dinner. If I still have light left after I'm done making and eating dinner, I will come back out and we'll do those pots. And if not, then I'll just do it another day and it's fine. But at least we've got our green stalk assembled. This is definitely going to be very easy to take apart, throw in the back of Tom's truck, take it to the townhouse and put it together there. That won't be a problem. I'm not worried about that at all. So I'm glad that I went ahead and did this because I really, really wanted to get this going. All right, you guys, let's finish up this video. So it's been about a week because I was coming out here and trying to accomplish these tasks in between the rain. It is obviously now gorgeous out here. Sunny, blue skies, beautiful. But it hasn't been the past week, and so all of those planting projects I was telling you about, I was trying to hurry and do them in between the rain. Didn't want to bring my phone or my camera outside, but we're done now, so I'm going to show you what all we've done. So these two beds here don't have anything in them, just weeds. I've been trying to keep the weeds down, but they're tenacious this year. The grass is really getting into these beds. These beds behind me, this is where I grew tomatoes last year. This year I have cucumbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cucumber plants. And in the bed next to it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zucchini plants. There was 5. I don't know what happened to the 5th one. It's hard to see, but I covered them with this netting. It's like a bird netting. And I have it held down with pieces of wood because the bunnies would, I mean, these would be gone in an hour. The bunnies would come and eat them. So I needed to cover them with something. Since the trellis was here, I thought this would be the perfect place to grow the cucumbers. And I'm not gonna be here much longer, only 2-ish weeks. So I don't know that I'm even gonna be the one to trellis them, but we're gonna leave a note for the new owner, just telling him a bunch of different things. I'll mention it when I get to the garden section. Hey, trellis them. The zucchinis are fine here. This is my herb bed. Look at that perennial oregano. My oregano, this is so well established. It's beautiful. I'm for sure harvesting a bunch of it to take with me. And then my sage over here, and I can't remember what that plant is there, but it's been coming back. I started some basil plants from seed, and I only ended up with 3. 2 of them are super pitiful. I kept those and planted them in the green stalk, which we'll look at in a minute. This was my only good one. And so I've given it to the new owner and I've planted it in the herb bed and hopefully it takes off and does really well. He can have some basil and oregano and that would be great. So moving on, these 2 beds over here, this one here, I have 2 pepper plants and a tomato plant planted for him. The new owner's a guy. Pepper plant, and tomato plant. I have the tomato plant within a cut open 2-liter soda bottle, again, to try to keep the bunnies. And then at night, I come out here and cover the pepper plants with one of these and then take them off in the morning. Pepper plants are doing great. That tomato plant is not. Don't know if it's gonna pull through. And then in this bed here, I've got 3 calendulas and 2 celotias, just to get a little color, a little flower in here, so that when he looks out at the garden from the patio, these beds are what he'll see. They'll have peppers and hopefully tomato and flowers. And that should be pretty. And then lastly, for the garden out here, and then we'll move on. In this very front bed here, I have 2 zinnias, a purple zinnia and a lime zinnia. That's what those little guys are there. And again, just so that when he looks out here, he sees flowers. Obviously, we've got the giant roses here growing up the trellis, so he'll see those. I just wanted it to be pretty, just so that he can see, oh wow, you know, this garden is nice, it's pretty, let's keep up with it. And then over here, I gotta take this off still yet. Another one of these. This is the arch trellis in front of the fireplace. The garlic is still going strong. I think he's gonna end up with that. Pretty sure it's not going to be ready in the next 2 weeks or so. So I planted that garlic for him. I've got a 1 cherry tomato right there, a sun sugar. And then I've got another cherry tomato on the other side right here in the front, and that's a super sweet 100. You guys know, normally I plant this entire thing out in cherry tomatoes. I love growing cherry tomatoes on the trellis. They really thrive on the trellis, but I didn't start seeds and I didn't want to buy that many plants. Plus I've got the garlic here, so I just did the one on each end, and that should give him plenty of cherry tomatoes. Along the inside of the arch trellis, I planted sugar snap peas. Only one of them is actually like doing well and growing, because the other ones got eaten down by bunnies. And although they are making a comeback, it's supposed to be in the 80s all next week. So I doubt they're going to get tall enough fast enough to beat the heat and really produce the way that they like to. I tried. So in terms of what I planted here for him, for the new owner, I think that was a nice effort. You know, I tried to give him some pretty, I tried to give him some tasty and some practical, and just show him, look, this garden is worth having here. Maybe don't get rid of it. But if he chooses to get rid of it, it's his choice ultimately. But I needed to try and do something. So there's that. This is my mint box that's right by the door here. I come out and harvest this mint all the time for tea. So good, so good. And then we have the green stalk that we planted together. So here's what ended up happening with that. Oh, let me sit down. Oh. So here's what ended up happening with that. I had said I needed 2 more strawberry plants, and then I was going to fill the rest with herbs, I think I said. I went back, and maybe more lettuce. I went back to the garden factory, the nursery, and they were totally sold out of the strawberries. And I don't know why I was surprised. They were selling them $1 each, or 10 for $10. And that was a freaking steal. So I'm really lucky that I even got the 10 that I got that are planted in there. They're doing great. You can see there's a ton of strawberries on them. You can tell even from here. They're doing great. And as they put off runners, I'll redirect those runners into the empty cups. It'll be fine. So I'm not worried about it. I would have liked to have had a couple more, but it's fine. They were sold out of pretty much everything. I wanted more lettuce, no more lettuce. It was gone. And then I looked at their herbs and they were so expensive. I think they were, which actually they were cheaper there. They were 3 for $13, I think. Yeah, I think they were 3 for $13, which puts them at what, just a little over $4 each. Which is better than what I'm about to show you. I went to Home Depot, because I was like, okay, because those were organic too. Those were organic herbs at my local nursery. So I was like, let me go look at the cheapo, non-organic ones at Home Depot. You know, over its life, if I grow it organically, I don't care so much if it doesn't start out organic. They were so expensive. I'm gonna put them here on the screen. And this is why it is so good to grow from seed, you guys. I was floored at these prices. I was like, this is highway robbery. Don't get me wrong, they were actually really good looking plants. Like, look at these basils. They looked so good. And so my mouth was watering because I'm just like ready for basil season. And so I was like, okay, you know, they look really healthy. That's good. But the price, oh my gosh, I could buy an entire packet of seed and grow, I don't know, 75 basil plants for the price of this one basil plant. It's outrageous. So I didn't buy any. I'm gonna have to though, because I want herbs. I really want herbs. So I think I'm just gonna wait. They will continue to sell herbs far into the season, whereas like we're past lettuce and strawberry season, so I wasn't surprised that they didn't have any more of those. I'll still be able to find potted herbs. And so I'm gonna wait, I think, until we move. Once I take this apart to the green stalk to move it, I will go and get the herbs and fill in the holes and put it back together, and that'll be fine. And I'll probably get them from the local nursery instead of Home Depot because it's slightly cheaper, they're organic, and I'm supporting a local business. That's the better thing to do. I just couldn't believe the prices. I haven't bought potted herbs in years, so I didn't know what to expect. And when I saw it, I was like, holy cannoli, good night. So yeah, start from seeds, guys. If you can help it at all, start from seed, because it is so much more economical. Honestly, let's be real. Okay, and then the last thing I have to show you, I had also, if you remember me showing you, I also had purchased tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, and cucumber. I already showed you the ones that I've planted for the new owner, but I planted some for myself too. And I did pots. I didn't want to put them in the green stalk. I'm sure I could have. I don't have any green stalk experience, and I wasn't sure how I was going to manage it. So I did pots. This is one of those things that I did in between the rain. So this is a cherry tomato. It's already double in size. It's doing so well in this pot. And I have a cage on it because these grow to be really big. This is the Super Sweet 100. I mean, you saw I have it on our big trellis out here for the new owner, so it definitely needed a cage. And then the one next to it it's still growing, but it's not, this one over here is growing so fast. This is a sun sugar. You guys know that is my absolute favorite. I love the golden tomatoes. That's what this one is too, because they're my favorite. I have two of them. So I have one Super Sweet 100, two sun sugars, and then I have two of those garden salsa peppers. If you guys have, I can't remember if I've mentioned it in the other part of this video, but garden salsa is my absolute favorite pepper. I love it so much. I eat the heck out of them during the season, and then I also preserve them and eat them in the winter time, and they're just so good. And then this was a last minute addition. There's two cucumbers and a zucchini in here. They're not doing very well, so I don't know if it's even going to work out. Really pitiful, not looking great. But I had them, so I planted them, and we'll see. So that's all she wrote, folks. Let's take a look at this green stalk here. I mean, really just abundantly producing. Lots of new growth on here. Beautiful, beautiful strawberries. This is an everbearing, so they'll continue to put on all season. So pretty. And then the lettuce is doing really well. You can see how it's growing out of its pocket. None of these were even touching the pocket when I planted them just a week ago. And now they're growing out of their pocket. So this one in particular, I've been eating off of. So they're doing really, really well. I'm happy to report. So yeah, that's where we're at. This was really fun. I'm super glad that I was still able to, getting hot. I think I'm really gonna struggle with the heat this season, being pregnant. I'm so glad that I was still able to do some personal planting. Obviously, we're planting my face off at the church, but for myself, I'm glad that I've got the green stalk and I've got a few pots with some things. And you know, if there were four things, really three things that I absolutely had to have in a garden every year, it would be basil, cherry tomatoes, and peppers. I have to have them. I eat the heck out of them. I mean, just all day, every day, yum, 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 yum. In my breakfast, in dinners, as snacks, love. And so I'm really so grateful that I still had the opportunity to, we'll see how they do at least. So I guess I shouldn't count my chickens before they've hatched, but it seems like I'm going to have those. I'm really grateful for that. And then to have the green stalk for the herbs and the lettuce and the strawberries is just such a blessing. It's so pretty. this was really fun and uplifting for me, and so I'm really excited about that. So thanks so much for hanging out as we tackled these, and I just am so grateful for you guys that you're coming along this journey. It's a very interesting time in my life right now, and I've loved filming it because I know that these videos are going to be so precious to me. These memories are going to be so precious to me in the future, because just think, like, we're going to be on our property with the big gardens and all the animals doing all of the things. And I know it's going to be these humble moments that I look back on to help keep that dream and that fire alive in me. Like, remember how bad you wanted it back when all you had was some basil and some strawberries and a green stalk. Like, you wanted this. So when I'm being crushed by it in the future, I can look back and be like, wow, yeah, that version of you wanted this more than anything. And so, yeah, I'm excited, and I'm so glad that you guys are coming along, and I love sharing it with you. So I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith and keep moving forward. Bye, friends.